Santa Claus is coming to town and bringing some season's beatings. Gonna deck the halls with your guts. Bah humbug, you filthy animal. Nice to meet you.
These bad men, they're all on my naughty list. Naughty. That's naughty!
And what do you do to the naughty ones?
I give them a lump of coal. Where is it? I gotta watch.
I believe in you, Santa.
And today we have Violent Night. Honestly, this kind of holiday film is right up my alley. Whenever the holidays do roll around, you know, Thanksgiving, Christmas, I don't like the holiday classics. While I have an appreciation for the ones that are like A Christmas Carol and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Charlie Brown's, all that is just like, at this point, it's just like, huh. But I do love Christmas adjacent films, or films that aren't necessarily the stereotypical classics. Like, I'll enjoy some, you know, Arthur Christmas, some Polar Express, but I'm also going to be watching Die Hard and Krampus, and those are ones that are more my style. Like, I would consider like Hateful Eight a Christmas movie before I would go and be watching It's a Wonderful Life, you know? But then we all saw the trailer for this film, and I know we all saw the trailer because David Harbour, who's the star of this, I guess I can just go ahead and throw his name up there. David Harbour is huge now thanks to Stranger Things, and he can pretty much do whatever he wants to do because everybody loves him, myself included. So when I heard they were making a film where he plays Santa Claus, but he's this drunk, tubby, and then when bad guys get in the way, apparently violent and murderous, Jolly Saint Nick. I mean, you had me sold at the word go. But Violent Night is actually directed by a Tommy Wirkola. It's a name that I've never heard of before, but funny enough, he's done several films that I have heard of and have a certain amount of odd reverence for. Most recently, he did that movie that your mother probably watched, or at least my mom probably watched it because she kept bringing it up a few times after she did. What Happened to Monday on Netflix. That was his most recent film, not counting this. But I know him as the guy who brought us, there's the Hansel and Gretel film, and then also the one that I don't know if I like these movies per se, but I like the concept, and they just are funny and graphic and all this, but Dead Snow, the one with just like Nazi zombies in the winter, is a whole thing. But he also did Dead Snow. But at the very least, like good action flicks or good violent action flicks, if he's given an R rating to work with. Half this film's marketing is selling it on the fact that you have David Harbour, like I already mentioned, Hopper from Stranger Things. You already know him. Most likely you know him and you love him, like we all do. What I would argue is the secondary lead of this film, but I think the daughter is the secondary protagonist. I don't think the mother or the father really, I mean, they're primary protagonists for sure, but it's the daughter, Leah Brandy, or Leah Brandy, however you want to say it, who's been in virtually nothing. I think she was in one episode of two different shows, but she's the daughter in this. I think she was great. I think the dynamic between her and Santa, because when Santa finds out she's stuck in all this, that's when he kicks things in a high gear and is like, Santa's gonna give them all a lump of coal, and she's like, give them their lumps, Daddy, I mean Santa, and then the movie goes from there. Though I will say, the mother was played by a woman after my own heart. I'm so glad to see her. I don't know if she's going to keep getting more movies, but Alexis Louder, I gave her the biggest shout out because I loved her character in Cop Shop, and I don't like this character as much in this movie, but I do like Alexis Louder a lot, so I want to keep seeing her in more stuff. If you like her at all in this movie, you will love her in Cop Shop. But overall, Violent Night, I had a great time. Look, man, is it an Oscar-winning film? No. Is it a fantastic feat in cinema? No, but this film accomplishes what it sets out to do, and I really enjoyed it. I almost loved it. For starters, the movie is very fun. As long as you don't mind blood and gore, you're gonna have a great time with this film. It's a great holiday movie. It very much is just a hokier, more modern less serious Die Hard, you could say. It's purposefully hokey, which I think adds to the charm. I think we're all very well aware that a lot of the one-liners in this film are cheesy as all get out, but it's 100% the intent of both the filmmaker and the actors. Just the delivery, especially from John Leguizamo. I always say his name wrong, but he's the main antagonist in this film, and he probably has the quote-unquote worst lines. He's like, "You can call me Scrooge, bah humbug motherfucker," and all this, but he's hamming it up. He's supposed to be. And the same thing obviously with David Harbour's character as Santa, when he literally delivers lines like "season's beatings" and "I'm gonna give them all a lump of coal" and all this. Like, film isn't meant to be taken super seriously. It's violent, it's very violent, but that's the point. It's supposed to be like that cheesy, hokey, action-packed, with a little bit of heart, kind of holiday thrill ride. As always, I gotta give it extra super special credit because this film, whenever possible, utilizes practical effects. There's certain things that you have to do digitally and have to do just for the sake of the budget they were working with or their filmmaking techniques they were utilizing, but when it comes to someone getting a nail through a certain part of them or getting a star in their face or whenever they could, they used practical effects, and I always appreciate that in film. I will say there's some cons to the experience. They play up this whole squad of killers that's supposed to be like SEAL Team 6 and ruthless mercenaries and all this. I do think they kind of are here and there. They're definitely all assholes, but I think everybody in this movie is a tiny bit too dumb and a bit too slow. There's plenty of times every bad guy in this film has a gun, and there's moments throughout the film where there's a perfectly good opportunity. They're on their way to kill somebody, and instead of point blank taking a shot, they'll either try to chase them down, go for a physical altercation, and even if they haven't been shooting distance, there's that hesitation that happens a lot in the film, and that takes me a little bit out of it, because you could have avoided a lot of the conflict in this film if they had just started shooting first and chasing down their prey later. So it's kind of weird. It's just a complaint I have. And I do think, for all the love that I give David Harbour, I do think both in marketing and the film itself, the film leans a little bit too hard on him as, it's David Harbour's Santa, here's who you came to see. It'd be great if all components of the film were like that, but I think, they made it clear on the poster, it's literally just David Harbour's face. Throughout the movie, he's the protagonist we follow the most, he has the most punchlines, the most jokes, he has literally the most punchlines and altercations. It's clearly watching him be Santa and just brutalizing these bad guys throughout the whole film. And while I think it mostly works to the film's betterment, in my opinion, it also works to the film's detriment, because at that point, you are leaning too much on him, and if you take him away, what do you have? You would have something that'd be a lot more half-baked and wouldn't work quite as well. We enjoyed it for the reasons that we enjoyed it, but it also is a formulaic film with not really any stakes. In a film like this, they wouldn't kill the kid. In a film like this, any of the family could die, but you get a vibe for the plot, you can kind of feel how the narrative would progress, and any deaths that came were pretty telegraphed. You kind of knew what was going to happen. The kills were creative and surprising throughout the film, so those kept us guessing, or kept me guessing anyway. Film itself, at its base, it's formulaic. It's a narrative that you have probably seen before, and if you haven't seen it, you could probably guess or have an inkling of how it's going to pan out. By the trailer and by the poster pretty much, and the synopsis, exactly what you're getting going into this, and it delivers on that. It doesn't deliver it perfectly, and I think without David Harbour the film would fall apart for a few different reasons for sure, but overall I'm mostly basing this rating on my personal enjoyment. I really liked it. I would watch it again. Is it my favorite holiday movie of all time? No. My favorite David Harbour film? No, but it's good, and I recommend watching it. You could see it in theaters in a little fun little outing, but it's also, I feel like it'd be a very good stream at home with some boozy eggnog and your friends this holiday season if it comes out in time. But overall, I would say, in my opinion, Violent Night is I'd give it a 4 out of 5. I'd give it a solid 4 out of 5. I almost wanted to give it a high 4, but it's not a near perfect film. It's just a strong 4. I thought it was a great holiday film. I thought it was a great David Harbour film. Don't really have any major complaints. The cast, they all play their characters well. It's delightfully violent It's a blood-soaked Christmas little tale. Not gonna be for everyone. I don't know if I'd call it a family flick at all, but I liked it. If you dig my taste in films, you'll probably dig this film. But that's all I gotta say about Violent Night. Thank you guys and gals so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode of whatever movie I review. And goodbye, travelers.